Welcome everyone to the season of pumpkin spice, horror, and far too early Christmas sales. Ding! For the occasion, I thought I'd review some things of a genre I'm normally hesitant to go anywhere near. I am bad at horror. I'm easily scared, hide behind the sofa, scream a little bit, and cuddle up with someone I like, kind of scared, okay? I get freaked out by too much gore effects, by needless signs of cruelty that lack character, and I'm more for the visual of the whole thing. It feels like attention seeking. It's the Miley Cyrus of horror to me. What's about Miley Cyrus and that kind of horror? It works and it sells. For the occasion, I thought I would review some of the spookiest and most horrifying films that I actually enjoy and put them forward as my recommendations for this Halloween. They are all classed as Halloween films to me, but for completely separate reasons. We have jump scares, we have gore, and we have intelligent, creeping dread. Let us journey back in time, starting with the most recent of these films, with Joss Whedon's 2012 film, Cabin in the Woods. Cabin starts out as your typical horror slasher survival film. 5 friends go out into the woods for a little holiday getaway to a spooky, rickety, destroyed-looking cabin of why the hell would you be here? Now, whenever you watch one of these films, you often ask yourself, why the hell would you go in there? Why would you use this? Well, that actually comes up. It turns out the kids, and it's put out very early on, this is not a spoiler, are being manipulated into doing it. Some people are in charge, in control of the situation and are pulling the strings. And what is revealed instead is a fantastic pulping of the horror genre and its tropes, an exploration as to why would they even work, and a very fun and frightening feast along the way. Cabin revels in nostalgia and classic horror, not the Universal Monsters type of horror like Dracula, but the things that came afterwards, the spooky. Every single survival film ever made is referenced in this one pretty much. And it's smart, and it's funny in places, and it's really clever. In fact, one of the few criticisms I've heard is that the film is too smart, or trying too hard to be smart. Here's the thing. Smartness is what's put into a film. What you get out of it is smart. I don't think that can be used as a negative term. It has to take some kind of form for it to be too smart. Like Machete being too smart. That wasn't too smart, that was a mismatch. That felt inconsistent with the lack of smartness in the other parts of the film. Cabin in the Woods is self-aware and meta. It is not too smart so much as it is fourth wall breaking. In fact, there's a fourth wall inside the film. It would break the 5th wall if it came into our world, but there is a world inside that world behind a wall, which eventually does break down completely. And it's fantastic to watch. It's a solid-ass film, and you can't predict where anything is going, because it pulls the rug out from under you and is like, no, we know how horror is written. One of the major things I love to see in a spooky film is where I can't guess what's going on, where I can't see where things are going. This is one of the major differences between Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 2 as a film. The Cabin is not for the faint of heart. It is creepy more than anything else. There is some blood and there is some boobs. It's got, the blood and violence, the slagging and fragging going on. But at the same time, it's the creepy overtones. The few little references here and there to why this situation is happening that are truly quite disturbing. They freak me out far more than any of the actual jump scares or visual cues going on. And for the largest part, some things are best off hidden, and they don't zoom in on them so much to be like, here's a bloody head. None of that. It has to be fast and impressive. Each of the cast members, as is brought up at one point, represents a horror trope in and of themselves. You've got the virginal one, you've got the sexy one, you've got the smart one, the athlete, who by the way is played by Chris Hemsworth. So this film, by the way, came out around the same time as The Avengers. So Joss Whedon had a damn good year. As did Chris, and by proxy, as did we. Nothing wrong with a bit of the male eye candy now and then. Just putting that out there. With its clever self-awareness and its constant twists and turns and unpredictability, and a beautiful guest appearance from the mother of all monsters, I find this film to be fantastic if you want just to see a classic fest of horror film elements. Partly because for the beginning it seems very classic, and then by the end you just see a reference fest that is a feast for the eyes. It is fun, it is stupid in parts, but self-aware, fun. It's a stupid scene made by clever people, and that what makes it work. It's hard to describe. It's weird. It's like the jokes that seem slightly flat in Avengers, but are really funny because they seem that way and no one reacts. It's fantastic. It really is. As far as I'm aware, Cabin in the Woods did relatively well. I mean, it earned $12 million, but the budget was 30, so swings and roundabouts. It did really damn well as far as I'm concerned, but these things are weird. So you should be able to find it relatively easy enough. It's not on Netflix, but it is in the Explore Tiles related to bits, so it means it was on before, or it's coming, or it's on the American one, but not the European English one. I don't know. Have a look around. It should be easy enough to find, it's recent. And if you've seen it already and want something similar, a far more comedy-oriented film, with far more gore and less creeping horror going on, is Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Similar idea, it takes a bunch of horror tropes and instead of pulping them together into one fine, juicy smoothie of fright and delight, it takes the mick out of them by being, how can we weave this into a very understandable and actually quite alright scenario that just goes horribly out of control. It is hilarious, it is well acted, and it features a lot of familiar faces. Got Tyler Labine and Alan Tudyk as a pair of hillbillies. Yes, that is the big guy from Reaper and Wash from Firefly. They are hilarious and fun in this, and just, I adore them completely. And it is a very bloody but very funny, ridiculous cartoon gore level of just fun stupidity. Really, really is. So if you've watched Cabin in the Woods already, I would recommend that one. That one is definitely available on Netflix because that's where I saw it. And enjoy your weird parody-esque pulpy comedy films. I highly recommend them. Next review, something more intentional horror and less self-aware than that.